In recent months, OpenAI released a Company Knowledge update. This update allows accounts that are education, business, or enterprise tiers to connect their company knowledge, really just their company data, to their ChatGPT account. This is done using connectors to apps like Gmail, Slack, Asana, GitHub, and others. Google Drive is another one. Essentially what this allows for is to let ChatGPT become something like an internal search engine for your company, where you can use it like a conversational search engine, answering questions that really only someone with your company data would be able to answer. And beyond just answering questions, of course, that can include data analysis, content creation, and other tasks that you might give ChatGPT. Now, of course, on the surface, this might just seem very attractive to a business owner. You might be thinking, okay, sign me up. But there are some data security issues that you should be aware of. To start off that discussion, it's worth mentioning what OpenAI has done in the way of security measures. OpenAI has said that it will not use business data for training. It will keep business data encrypted, and it will also let admins of these accounts control which users get access to what data sources. So those are three important data security measures, right? The last one is certainly one that any business owner should be interested in, because that feature is a step toward ensuring that certain users on the account will not just be able to ask ChatGPT anything about the company data and get an answer. You're going to want some groups to have access to data that other groups, or even just individual users, should not be using, because you want to have certain groups accessing data that other groups or individual accounts should not have access to. So that can be good for data security. However, if you are a business owner who is considering the company knowledge feature, you should be aware that there are data security experts who have raised good points about the data security issues that could still be inherent with this feature, despite the measures that OpenAI has taken. One of the ones that experts raise is that OpenAI is really still a fairly new company. It's relatively unproven what they will do with data, because they're still on the way to becoming profitable. When you have so much data from so many enterprise clients, when you have a feature like company knowledge where many businesses might be giving them a ton of valuable data, is it really out of the realm of possibility that they might find some way to monetize that down the line if it becomes truly challenging to become profitable in this ever-competitive AI race? Maybe or maybe not. But that is still a concern, along with the relative newness of OpenAI, where there have been proven instances of data breaches, and where even security researchers outside of the organization have identified weaknesses with OpenAI's products, such as the connectors feature, that OpenAI in turn had to patch. So what that says is that there's still some work to be done from the side of data security within OpenAI. Let's consider a hypothetical case of a company that has a Google Drive where only a certain amount of employees can access data within a certain folder. Well, what happens if one of the employees who have access to that folder uploads sensitive data to other folders where the majority of users at the company have access? Suddenly, sensitive data that users should not have access to are suddenly pullable from ChatGPT in a conversation. That's just one reason why, if you're considering using this feature, you need to be communicative with your employees about expectations for using company knowledge, where they should upload sensitive data, and who has access to what folder, and where they should be uploading data. Because otherwise, the data access controls for users might just be kind of a moot point if people are uploading sensitive data to folders that everyone has access to. But to return to what is attractive about this feature to business owners, it's that it makes information access so much more convenient for your employees, and it also lets them use company data within the context of an AI that can run data analyses, that can have back and forth conversations and give advice. So an example would be preparing for a meeting with a client where you have company data from Slack and Google Drive, where an employee who is preparing for a client meeting could use ChatGPT to summarize communications with that client, as well as internal research on that client, and have it all in one answer from ChatGPT based on one prompt. That can save a lot more time and energy than if the employee had to go into the Slack channels and comb through the messages and find where else information about that client might be within the company data. So overall, would it be recommended for a business owner to use the company data feature? Really, the double-edged sword of this is that yes, you get the convenience in the hyper-personalization of ChatGPT for your own business's needs, but that comes at the cost of the data security issues that have been mentioned. But that being said, this is a glimpse into the future of AI, where we're going to go from the one-size-fits-all versions of like ChatGPT and Copilot and Gemini, and just see more updates and features from the big tech companies of these one-size-fits-all AIs that allow for deeper personalization and deeper fitting to certain use cases without requiring businesses to have to go and make a huge upfront investment in personalized large language models themselves. Instead, you're going to see more of the subscription-based models like ChatGPT Enterprise that comes with more personalizing features for the users, such as ChatGPT connectors. So that's company knowledge. You can expect to see similar features at other AI companies. Really, in the future, it's probably going to be much more common for businesses to be connecting many data sources to a certain AI model that serves as like a one-stop shop for internal search and data analysis within the company. So those are some big things to know about the company knowledge update from OpenAI. If you are planning on using it, just be sure to be proactive on the data security side, letting your employees know the do's and don'ts of using this feature, as well as being cognizant of regular AI issues such as hallucination. When AI is pulling from different data sources, it might hallucinate. That could be an issue. And it could be more than just minor details. Big problems could arise from hallucination. That's why it would be good to tell users to double check ChatGPT, and ChatGPT should cite where it found certain information within your company data so that users can go and double check. Otherwise, if a hallucination does happen, such as describing a default on a loan to the wrong customer, that could come with issues of its own. So that was some information for you about OpenAI's company knowledge update. Thanks for listening. I'm Connor Rafferty, signing off.